Hey, how's it going? I had the Wanderlust bug earlier this year and thought I'd take you along on my trip of the southwestern shoreline of Lake Michigan. I went during the spring, which was a little stupid on my part because I got really bad hay fever at the end of it due to my seasonal allergies, but nonetheless I was still able to enjoy most of my trip when I didn't feel like I was going to die. On my first day, we basically had a 10-hour car ride, and by the time we got to Michigan, we were exhausted. We did, however, visit Warren Dunes State Park for about half an hour in New Buffalo, Michigan. These rugged dune formations can rise up to 260 feet above the lake, and they have 3 miles of shoreline with plenty of hiking trails around. Now, to be honest, Lake Michigan and its shoreline was the main thing that caught my attention rather than the sand dunes, but I mean, the height of the dunes were pretty impressive. Now, the water here at the lake, very clear, and it looked incredibly pretty, just like I was on an actual beach. However, the water was freezing, like ice cold. You dip your foot in there and it's like you're basically sticking your foot inside the freezer. Of course, because this is a lake and not an actual beach, there weren't any seashells to pick up, but I did get a handful of different types of rocks. I was honestly surprised to see seagulls out here, because I actually didn't think they were around in this part of the US. It was pretty nice being able to sit out here and just relax for half an hour before heading into the hotel and settling in, just because that car ride was pretty packed and I was able to watch the sun kind of set. The next day, we headed up north of the shoreline into Holland, Michigan. I went here in May, I know, kind of a way back from now, but the way that I coincidentally scheduled it, Tulip Time was happening. If you don't know what Tulip Time is, it is basically an annual festival, their biggest one I believe, that boasts over 5 million tulips. As this town is called Holland, they also celebrate the Dutch heritage origins of the town. I went to 2 places to see the tulips, one at the window on the waterfront, and then the main attraction that you're seeing here is the Windmill Island Gardens. Now, this island has a gift shop that has all of the little Dutch memorabilia, as well as a free museum you can walk into. They have buildings that kind of have the Dutch features of architecture, and then they also have this really cool windmill. Now, I don't know why I didn't actually show footage of tulips that I saw out there, so I did include these pictures just so you could kind of see what I did not film, apparently. I thought I did. However, as I told you before, I do have seasonal allergies. I am allergic to trees. I am also allergic to flowers. I know, why am I here during tulip time? I like looking at flowers, so I did have to wear my mask the entire time I was outside, because I was already struggling at this point, and I got worse by the end of the day of this day. But wearing the mask, I feel like, did kind of help me be able to not suffer as much while I was out there. Now, the cool part is that I was also able to go inside of that windmill that you saw, and that was the view from above. And then also just walking around, they had a carousel. Unfortunately, you can only ride it if you are 12 years and under. And then they also had a little greenhouse as well as some places to eat. Now, afterwards, we did head over to, you guessed it, antique shops, because why not? I like antiquing, and I always try to just see what types of shops they have around, just seeing what they have over there in their state. They did have a collection of really good vintage clothing, but all of them were out of my budget, so I was not able to buy anything except admire all of the clothing and handbags. On day 3, our last full day in Michigan, I wanted to see more of their beaches because that was the main reason why I wanted to be there, and so we stopped shortly at Silver Beach at St. Joseph. Now, this place actually had a lighthouse that I was really interested in wanting to go inside, but I believe I wasn't able to go in because it was closed during that time. Now, when we were here at the beach, the sun was in and out during the time that I was there. We were probably there for like only half an hour, unfortunately, just because it got a little too cold. And as you can see, there's not that many people swimming because of how cold it was. So I stayed mostly by the shoreline. I did keep my feet in the water for like half of the time, but I just really wanted to relax and enjoy the views. But some people were actually brave enough to kind of swim in the water for a little bit. Once we had to leave because it unfortunately started to kind of sprinkle and rain, we just had a quick little stop at the South Haven strip of just like all of their boutiques, and then afterwards we went back to St. Joseph and we checked out, oh, what is this? An antique mall! Yep, I just can't stay away from those. While I was out there, I was able to find this really cute scarf clip. It was only like $5, and I snatched that up. I wanted to get more of the views of the beach over at Silver Lake because that is kind of where our hotel was. So after we went to the antique mall, before we headed back to the hotel, I asked if we could stop over at the pier and get a closer look at the lighthouse. As you can tell by the sky, it was very cloudy. We started walking down and we got to enjoy some of the sights over at the pier. As you can see, here's me. It was also very windy. You could probably see it in the way that the waves are hitting out onto the pier. And you can surprisingly see also some more dunes on the side. Even though we aren't at Warren Sand Dunes. I wanted to try to walk all the way down to the end despite the lighthouse being closed. However, we were not able to do that because it just kept getting colder and colder so fast. That's why I'm wearing a scarf and my spring jacket. And then, you know, all of a sudden, it started raining. So yeah, had to cut that short. The last day, it was basically going back home, which took the 10-hour drive. But before we left, we did come back to Silver Beach. However, we got to find the other side, which actually was a lot better. I hope that you enjoyed the little weekend trip with me to Lake Michigan, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye!